dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for our Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We're talking about SmackDown in Norfolk, Virginia, September 12th, 2025. Vic and Booker on commentary. And a week from now, we are going to be at WrestlePalooza on ESPN. And yes, I bought the app. But I've been making the app kind of worth it. I've been following my teams. Most of my teams are all from Detroit. But I've been watching Detroit Tigers just get their asses kicked over and over again. I'm just like, oh, maybe this app will not bring me joy unless there's a WWE pay-per-view. So before we get into this, Vic and Booker on commentary, that is awesome. You know, and these two already fighting at the starting of the show, that just made me even happier. And I was like, you know what? I like this. Vic and Booker are such a great combination of a commentary team. And speaking of combinations of sorts, WrestleMania 43 in 2027 is in Saudi Arabia. The first WrestleMania to not be in Canada or in the U.S. We're going international, so I'm hoping that means more international shows. But the backlash of it, you sold out. Being one topic, especially in the live chats. And when at Lucha, at the Worlds Collide AAA WWE show in Vegas, they showed the package and whatnot. And during that package, it said, you sold out. You can hear them saying, you sold out. And I don't think it's Triple H that has to be blamed for this. I think it's TKO. Yeah, this whole thing with Saudi Arabia from the beginning has been controversial, all the way to that first show, you know, they did with Crown Jewel. Was it Crown Jewel? Yeah, it was Crown Jewel, right? But it was a big controversial thing, especially when the first show was all men. Like, they didn't allow the women to come and wrestle. Then, you know, that's how Evolution was created. And then that next year, they're like, yeah, they can wrestle, but they can wrestle in T-shirts. And now they're a little bit more like, yeah, they can wrestle, but it's not, they have to be covered. And the only things that aren't covered is their head or their hands. So there's been a little bit of progression there, but I get why the chance of you sold out. It's all about money at the end of the day, you know. And WWE is just this big machine right now that can't really be stopped. And with something like TKO, they're going to take every advantage possible to keep making money. I say this is good for the wrestlers. I don't know how all of them feel, but you know, there's opportunities here and there. But I get why everyone is mad about it. I get it. And I understand we're all like, then we'll be like, oh my gosh, greatest WrestleMania ever. So, but I heard too through the grapevine that Saudi Arabia is really pushing towards a lot of like legendary matches. You know, we're going to pull some wrestlers out of retirement, stuff like that. I really hope that's not true, even though I feel like that is, you know, because they're the ones that got the DX versus Kane and Taker match that was just awful. Then you got the Undertaker versus Goldberg, which was awful, you know, and I'm just hoping that this card is built correctly and not just built on like, we just want all the legends back, you know. So, but yeah, Taker was at the thing and Shawn Michaels, and they're like, oh man, we got to wrestle again? Oh. So, that's my 2 cents. We're all going to watch it anyway, you know. We all get mad about things, and then we all like, and we're going to watch. So, I saw a great suggestion, especially for that weekend. Is someone's like, AEW should host a show in New Orleans, a big show, and invite all the indie promotions out there and be there WrestleMania weekend 2027 in New Orleans. You know, because New Orleans was supposed to get WrestleMania, this one coming up in Vegas, the repeat, but TKO wanted Vegas again. So, because even freaking The Rock said, we're going to be in New Orleans. And everyone's like, woohoo! They don't New Orleans. They're like, nah, just kidding. We're back in Vegas. So a lot of pull here and a lot of strange things and choices, but that's just how this cookie's going to crumble. All right. Now, let's get into the show. You know, we started off with Brock Lesnar. We got a package of what he did to John Cena and Sami Zayn. And calling out Cena and saying, like, hey, WrestlePalooza, you and me, bitch. So we're going to get John and Brock one more time. And I'm very excited about that. And I heard that that's going to be the main event of WrestlePalooza, which rightfully so, I feel, especially this being John Cena's farewell tour. But we have R-Truth comes out. I'm sorry, Ron Cena. Oh my gosh, man. It was just like, damn, I wonder if this is like the last time we're going to get these two like face to face. Because these two have had some great, you know, back and forth back in the day. Truth making Brock break and stuff like that. You know, so there's a lot of great history here. That Ron Cena thing made me laugh. And at the end of the day, Brock gave Truth an F5. My favorite part about this, he's like, we're brothers. He's like, from another mother? No, from the same father. Well, when Brock F5 Truth, he ripped his pants. And that song from SpongeBob came on. And I ripped my pants. And he even tells Stu, he's like, hey, Stu. Shit, dude, I ripped my pants. I got blue underwear. Then after this, we have Sammy backstage talking to somebody off camera. He's like, I'm glad that you stepped up and you want to face me for my United States Championship in this open challenge. It's going to be a pleasure to rock and roll tonight. And it pans over and it's Rey Fenix. And I was like, oh, baby, this is how we're going to start it off with the first match of the night, Sami Zayn versus Rey Fenix. Let's go, Dan! But before we get to this match, we have a solo package. His MFTs. He's mad. He's angry. He's like, hey, man. Yeah, I'm angry. MFT out. Sammy versus Rey Fenix. United States Championship on the line. Oh, my goodness. Awesome. This is my match of the night. I mean, these two went balls to the wall crazy. We got that crowd behind him, man. And a few times I thought Rey Fenix was going to get that championship. But no, Sami Zayn retained. But these two went to war. And Sammy gave a lot of love and respect to Rey Fenix. And I think Rey Fenix gave it right back. And I think Rey Fenix is a future champion and a solo champion. Or maybe he gets back to with his brother Penta to be tag team champions, their first gold in WWE. But this was an awesome match, man. And I really do enjoy the United States Open challenges because they produce great matches. And you got to thank John Cena for that when he created the Open challenges for the United States Championship, because we want fighting champions. Then we get B-Fab from earlier in the day with the little thing with Julia and Kiana, which sets up our match next, B-Fab and Julia. But before this happens, we have the Wyatt Six sending a message to the Street Profits saying, like, hey, basically we got to teach you a lesson. We got this and that, this and that. So the Wyatt Six aren't done with the Street Profits. I'm excited to see where we're going to go with the Wyatt Six and the Street Profits, you know, and this total tag team division and them holding the tag team gold. So B-Fab versus Julia? Nope. Pretty much Kiana got in B-Fab's face and then Julia knocked B-Fab off the thing. Then they started a beat down afterwards, and then Michin comes in because Michin wants a shot at that United States Championship that Julia has. This really wasn't anything. I love this. I would love to see Michin and Julia do the tango for the championship. But yeah, this was like kind of like, yeah, here you go. All right, we're done. Aleister Black promo talking about Damian Priest. So that feud is not over, and I think it's going to end in one of those, like a gimmick match, you know, no holds barred, coffin. I feel like a coffin match would be something Aleister Black and Damian Priest would do. So I feel like that's the next step. That's the blow-off match, you know, with this feud. I feel like a casket match is in the works here. Just saying. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade. Oh, yeah, for the Women's World Championship. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. This was fun. And these two, like, beat the hell out of each other. It took them a little bit to get their rhythm with each other, but they got a double count out. Jade speared Tiffy's ass right through the barricade. And they were playing outside the ring, you know, going back and forth, and the ref was counting, and it was like, count out, this is a draw. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this doesn't really hurt Jade. This, you know, doesn't really hurt Tiffy. But it was a fun match. And then I really did enjoy, like, Jade just picking her ass up and spearing. Bam! And here comes Nia picking the bones of Tiffy and Jade, taking them both out. Nia is still a threat. She's like, don't count me out. Yeah. Then Nicholas, gets Chelsea's like, hey, you know, Charlotte, I don't think she's really hurt. And Nick's like, yes, she is. But they have to defend their tag team championships at NXT Homecoming. And whoever wins that, Chelsea, you and your Secret Harvest get a chance. And she's like, okay, I like that. Then Miz is like, hey, you know, speaking of title opportunities, Nick kind of does the rope-a-dope with them. He's like, yeah, you know, but Mel already talked to me. And Miz is like, yeah. He goes, hey, he's already talked about championship opportunities. He was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, but, you know, you know what? Just go talk to Mello yourself. And Miz is like, okay. And Chelsea and Miz have a little back and forth, which is fun, saying, like, Nick is not wearing diapers no more. We get a Brock and Cena history package. It's crazy thinking about, like, how this is all coming to an end next Saturday, and with Cena and Brock's history alone. You know what I mean? I was just watching this. I was gonna fast forward through it because I'm like, I already know all this, but then just watching it, just like, yeah, how we got to here and how special this match is gonna be between these two, because, you know, the feud is real. You know, so it has a long history. Cena has a lot of history with a lot of guys, but Brock has always been like one of the big ones. Vero from AAA is with Rey Mysterio, and he gets interrupted by Dom, who's going to take on Vikingo. And yes, I did watch Worlds Collide. Congratulations to Dom being the AAA Mega Champion, and then he had Rey put it on him. Oh my gosh, dude. Dominic Mysterio is the king of the luchadors, and I have nothing but respect. And as funny as when Dom turned heel, I was like, I don't know about this. My wife's like, just watch. He's going to be a superstar. Now he's holding the Intercontinental Championship and the AAA Mega Championship. This man can't be stopped. And he's the first Mysterio, I believe, right? That's what he said, to win this championship. So congratulations to Dom. There was a lot of great stuff on Worlds Collide. You should watch it. I was going to do a separate review, but time's crunching with the day job and stuff. But yeah, go watch Worlds Collide, man, if you just want some lucha fun. Then during this interview, Finn interrupts and tells Dom, like, hey, you know what's the best way to do this is by yourself. Go prove everybody wrong. And Dom has won the championship. Then we get Kathy with Sammy. She, you know, talking about what's next, who's going to step up with this open challenge. And Mello interrupts, and Mello tells Sammy, I'm next. And Sammy says, all right, don't miss. And I was like, ooh, Mello versus Sammy. See, this is why I like these open challenges so much. So much. And here comes Miz, and I don't care. I really want Mello just to get away from Miz. Just get away. Get away! Randy versus Drew. Awesome. You know what you're going to get with these two. These two went on a big battle, and there was this point where Randy got mad, and he could see, is he turning evil? Is he going to be a heel? You know, is it Randy and Cody at WrestleMania in Vegas next year? There's a lot of teasing here because he was going to punt Drew, and Randy had a big like thing on in between his eyeballs, a little blood there. And Randy hears the voices, and he's, like, getting angry, and he says, like, 25 years in this business, and I've never hit the ropes, or something like that. I don't know. He was angry, man. I hear voices in my head. So, but this was a fun match, and I really did enjoy the finish. Like, Drew threw Randy into the ref, and the ref was like, whoa, he's like, then Drew just, boom, knocks him out. And gets the 1-2-3 over Randy. And, of course, Drew is not done. He's going to do a beatdown after. And he's going to do what he did to Cody it feels like a month ago now when he took out Cody. And Well, my boy Cody's back and he's looking jacked. Holy crap, I was so happy. I was like, Cody, my boy. Taking out Drew, throwing his ass out of the ring and tells him like, hey, the champ is back. And that WrestlePalooza, it's me and you, Drew. And I was like, oh, man, I'm so glad I bought ESPN. So, but that's it. That's all, man. That's the way we end the show. My moment of the night is Cody coming back and telling Drew, like, hey, me and you, buddy. My match of the night, Sammy versus Rey Fenix for the United States Championship. I give this SmackDown a solid 3 out of 5. Go watch Worlds Collide. It's a fun time. Tell me what your thoughts about WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia in 2027. Are you excited for WrestlePalooza? Because I sure am. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB the Sexy Ninja. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life. Brother.
Whoa! Here we go.